has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible, hanging out the bad seed, a broken knee, a bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh, people dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shake it up, should do me, along with your boy Carver High, the Tater King, the Tutty King, the Golf Guru, the Sheet of Integrity founder. And we've got it all, the rundown on a midweek Where Do You Hurt Wednesday. Let's look at it. A double shot from Morency to kick it off in the first hour from Vancouver. And then look who it is, the Prime Minister, getting popular in the New York Post these days. He'll talk golf with Carver High. Plus, Keith Stewart in the 5 o'clock hour doing the same thing. They're hitting it around the links. You'll be making money. And Coach Young, our basketball guru, joins us in the final hour to talk rack. Carver High, the new playoff poll is out, and there's been some changes. Boise State is in, BYU is out.
Yes, in terms of, and happy Wednesday to everybody out there today. A happy Wednesday.
A happy Wednesday, actually.
It's a golf, you said it's a golf Wednesday today, the final PGA event of the year this weekend down in Sea Island, Georgia. Everybody's excited for the RSM Classic. I think Stewie's there, too, so good for him down in Georgia this week.
He went to the last tourney.
Went to the last tourney, so Stewie will be there today. Yes, new college football playoff ranking from last night. And there's a lot of significant things here, and I think that these people just sit around this room and just try to find things that can get people to talk about it. They moved Boise into the byes because they're one of the top 4 conference champions, moved BYU out of the byes. They're now the 12. You have Indiana would play Ole Miss now, Penn State and Georgia, Irish and Alabama, Ohio State and BYU, as I said. That would be your 4 matchups if it was this weekend.
So Penn State gets a home game. Notre Dame would get a home game. Indiana would get a home game. How about the Hoosiers playing in Bloomington at home? You got to be kidding me. They're still number 5. The top 5 didn't change at all.
Nothing changed at all in that area, but as we know, we have a lot that's going to go on in terms of this weekend. I thought Indiana and Ohio State is obviously going to move some things around. I think these SEC teams are still going to move some things around. So as we like to say every week, we can get excited about these things, but we've still got a lot of games to be played to decide where it's going to be. Alabama going up to South Bend at the end of December. That would be a lot of fun if we can get that as well. We say hello all the time. That'd be a lot of fun.
We thought it was going to be Bama playing at Bloomington against the Hoosiers. Every week it changes. 3 times they put it out. 3 times we've had different matchups in different places. And now we've bumped out a team that was undefeated. They're 9-1. But Boise has a cleaner loss at Oregon, so they get more credit.
They do get more credit. So we will discuss that today. I've even got some Lane Kiffin for you later. He actually made a very interesting point about these playoff rankings. Would it hurt you to make the SEC title game and lose at this point? Because it would give you a 3rd loss. Would that hurt you? So we'll have Lane today talking about that very interesting situation that he's right about. Could it be bad to lose an SEC title game if you get there? Yes. But
obviously.
I would think that the 2 teams that would make the title game would be in, right? But with how jumbled it is, he might have a point. It might be a problem if you lose that game and you don't get there. So we got all the college today. I've got a lot of NBA today as well. The Celtics gave the Cavs their first loss of the season last night in Boston in that NBA Cup game. And you also had, how about this, Dalton Connect for the Lakers last night. I mean, this guy went absolutely off, 39. I mean, he blasted like 6 threes in a 4-minute span at one point. He hit 9 threes overall. Getting involved for the Lake Show late night. Didn't cover, though.
37 spot. He can hit from anywhere. Tatum had 33. Cavs' first loss. They have to turn around and play at the Rocket tonight at home. See how they react after finally losing a game. 15-1 now, but they made it a game and they covered.
Made it a game, and they covered, and I think they'll be okay tonight, considering the Pelicans are bringing an absolute skeleton crew to Cleveland tonight. Cleveland, I think, is actually even sitting a bunch of their guys, and they're probably still going to be in good shape. So we'll go through all of the NBA Cup action from last night, including your boy Brody had his 200th triple-double last night of the Nuggets. Nuggets needed someone to step up with Joker out. Brody getting involved.
He can still light it up. He can still score. He can still deal. He can still run. He can still pass. He can still get it up and down, north and south. They won without the Joker. You got to be kidding me. And they did it convincingly on the road in Memphis. I didn't see it coming. They schooled them.
Unbelievable. We'll start, of course, NFL squarely looking at week number 12, which includes the Steelers and the Browns in Cleveland to start off week 12. And some of these numbers that you gave me today involving Mike Tomlin in Thursday night games. I mean, you have got to be kidding me here. The Steelers have never won a road divisional Thursday night football game. They're 0-7 all time. They are 0-5 under Tomlin. Tomlin's 2-8 on the road on Thursday nights. Thursdays, not kind to the Steelers and Mike Tomlin on the road.
How do you explain that with the way Tomlin wins, the way he wins on Monday night, primetime games, Sunday night games, the way he wins against rookies, against being a dog at home, he always wins. But Thursday nights, they can't win a game ever. They've never won a Thursday night game. I almost fell over.
Yeah, though they have never won a divisional Thursday night game. They've never won a game in the division on Thursday night. 0-7 all time, 0-5 under Tomlin. Tomlin has won twice on Thursday night, but he's lost 8 times. He's 2-8 on Thursday nights altogether for Mike.
At least they're playing the Browns. I mean, I still don't believe in the Browns. I think they stink. I think the Steelers can still win that game. I don't care what the number is. They're better. They got to go in there and handle their business. I don't care about trends. I don't care about they've never won, divisional or otherwise. They're flat out better. They got to go in there and win the game. It's that simple.
It is that simple. So we will start to get involved with all of that. I've got several other things. Usually Wednesdays I give you all the updated awards. I've got the MVP today. I've got the Coach of the Year. How about a new favorite for Coach of the Year that you might know very well as we get here on a Wednesday? A guy who's never won the Coach of the Year award before, sitting in the favorite spot this week. So we will do that later on as well. Lots of the other games for this week. Arizona, Seattle, big one, NFC West, et cetera. And how about Harbaugh? I got Harbaugh today. Yeah, I wasn't leaving that out. Harbaugh with the lock.
Right? Did you like that?
Now, you gave me the video, and I know there was like a shorter version and a longer version. The longer version was obviously too long to play, but we got the good part.
It was
that's in there. We got the good part that we're going. The longer version's better. I don't disagree with that. But we'll give you the gist of it as we love Jim Harbaugh now on Coast to Coast. He'll be one of our guys. We've got hockey tonight. Penguins blew a 2-0 lead at the PPG against Tampa last night and lost that. The Islanders blew a lead in the third and lost to Calgary. We will do all of the hockey for this evening. How about Marquette taking down Purdue last night?
Killed them.
Killed them at the Fiserv.
I didn't see that coming. Purdue played bad on the road.
No.
It happens. You go on the road.
Happens.
And that was a road game. It wasn't at their building, but it was at Fiserv. What's the difference? It was still on the road, and they didn't get it done, and they got lit up.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Don?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was
that's what
looking
your
down
grandma
and did
does,
not
right?
know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma will do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Together, both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Catch Sports Rage at 10 East every night, 7 West. You get Gabe with us on C2C every day from Vancouver. Thank God for that. I saw that your boy up in Buffalo, your quarterback, is now the leader for MVP. I think he's taken over that spot because he's played better than everybody. At the end of the day, he's killing it.
He is killing it, but as a Buffalo Bill fan, I don't want him to win the MVP. It's very rare that players win the MVP and the Super Bowl. In fact, it's almost a curse. We see it time and time again over the years. But Josh is playing elite football. I think Jared Goff deserves a lot of respect for the football that he's played this year with the Detroit Lions as well. Never really fully got the Patrick Mahomes stuff. They were winning games, but it really wasn't because of the offense, and he was a front runner. But Josh is balling right now. Everything is lining up perfectly for the Buffalo Bills. Scott, and it really would be the end of the world as we know it if we could end up with a Buffalo Bill and a Detroit Lions Super Bowl. I looked this up last week, actually, before they beat the Chiefs, and I was thinking, all right, because once they beat the Chiefs, suddenly the narrative, the Bills are good now because they beat the Chiefs, right? Because, they weren't before. So I knew that the public narrative would change on the Bills a bit. It was 26-1, Scott, that the Bills beat the Lions in the Super Bowl. And it was like 24-1 that the Lions beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. I don't think it'll happen just because it's almost too improbable. You have two franchises that have just sort of been fighting uphill their entire lives. The Bills have never won a Super Bowl. The Lions have never been to a Super Bowl before. But I don't think it's out of the question, Scott, that these are the two teams that are going to be playing in New Orleans.
So why do you think it would jinx him if he won the MVP, that he's not going to do well in the postseason? He hasn't done well in the postseason before. When he was an MVP, he can't beat the Chiefs. You think that award would screw him up somehow?
Well, I don't really know if it screws, the players up. Personally, it's just one of those, it's a similar situation with the Heisman, Scott. The winner of the Heisman always loses in the playoffs, like all the time. Like you see it all the time. And I'll pump up the record here. I'll try to do this quickly here. When we go to the break, I'll get you the record of NFL. If somebody in the studio can do it, look up NFL MVPs in the Super Bowl. it's like a path to death, Scott. I'm just stating from a superstitious and an historical perspective, MVPs lose. Like they lose the Super Bowl after. It happens all the time. We were there when didn't Joe Burrow win? And then he lost after. Like I'm telling you, you see it time and time again, Scott. You win the MVP, it's like the curse. You're not going to win the Super Bowl after. But there's a lot of football left, guys. Think about it. Let's put it into perspective. It's the same thing with the Heisman when everybody gets all up in arms in September and October and everything. We're not even in December yet, Scott. Right? Like the Super Bowl's in February. So there's so much football left still right now to be played. I don't want to get too excited about anything, but I do really, really like the way the Buffalo Bills, I like their attitude. You know, it's point blank. I've been talking about it all year. I noticed it earlier in the year with Josh Allen, where, you know, after big wins, the Bills used to like be very happy. And, you know, they were very, you'd think that they were the two-time Super Bowl champions with their attitude. You'll notice now after every game, Josh is never happy. He basically says the same thing I just said. A lot of football left. It was just another game on to next week. They have a killer instinct this year, Scott, of past failures, which they need. They need, and it'll help them in the postseason. But listen, your Pittsburgh Steelers are a dangerous football team right now. Hell, the Chargers are a dangerous team right now. The Chiefs are still going to be dangerous. The playoffs are going to be epic this year.
Do you think the Bills are better than the Steelers?
Yeah, you know, I would say they're even right now, to be honest. I think the Steelers are as hot.
Who's got the better D?
As anybody. I'd say man, they're both so good. They're very evenly matched. I actually looked at this. Listen, the Steelers, I would say the Steelers have the better D, but the Bills' defense is playing really well. The Bills have the better offense. I was looking at the numbers actually last night, Scott, just sort of comparing them by chance, and the Bills, like, you know, they've scored more points. They've given up a couple of more points. The Steelers have scored less points, but should be noted, the Steelers are a different football team now. The Russell Wilson is the quarterback as opposed to Justin Fields. To put in context, look, a good way, point differential does matter in a way. Like you can judge teams a lot by point differential. Like, dude, the Kansas City Chiefs were 9-0, guys. They had the lowest point differential of any 9-0 team in NFL history. So in other words, like they were lucky to be 9-0 in a sense. The Bills have scored 320 points this year. It's a hell of a lot. Like their offense is explosive as hell. They've only given up 214. You look at Pittsburgh, they've only scored 233 points, but they've only given up 162. The Bills have a point differential of plus 106, which is super stupid, crazy, like impressive. The Steelers have a win differential, Scott, of plus 71. I don't think people realize that. Like, the Steelers aren't, like, just, they're solid. They're not just winning games. Like, that's why I bring up Pittsburgh as being a legitimate threat. Like, I don't view Houston as a legitimate threat, Scott. The Chargers are good, but I don't see them, like, Super Bowl deep good. So I've got Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Buffalo. I've always thought Baltimore a little bit overrated. I've got the Steelers right there, Scott, at the top, man, in the AFC right now.
So
what are the Lions with point differential? Dear God, how about this guy?
Have won the Super Bowl and the MVP in the same season. You had Bart Starr, Bradshaw, Mark Mosley, Lawrence Taylor, Joe Montana, Emmitt Smith, Steve Young, Favre, Terrell Davis, Kurt Warner, and Mahomes. They've all won the MVP and the Super Bowl in the same season.
So before up to that, that's a lot of old names that you just mentioned, bro.
But I mean, they're badasses.
Bart Starr
doesn't get credit. He won 4 Super Bowls.
Okay, so you know what? For the number there, so Mahomes is the first one since Kurt Warner. That's all you need to know. It's the first time. So Mahomes in the last 5 years, that was the first time an MVP won the Super Bowl since Kurt Warner. When did Kurt Warner win? 2001? 2000? Like I'm telling you, bro. Like the modern history has been a road to death for that. I don't want the MVP for Josh.
From 2000 to 22, they lost until Mahomes got it done.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
With that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top. Oh!
Off-balanced him a little bit. Take down the head. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has of getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that position. That's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the from. Oh, he's out! He's out!
Trouble! And he's down! And he is done! The king has returned! Francis Ngannou is back!
So, Gabe, have you been watching the NBA Cup? Did you watch any of those games last night?
Yeah, you know what? I bet on the Cavaliers, Scott, plus the points last night, and I wasn't
So did
feeling
I.
too good about it. They were getting absolutely murdered by Boston. Boston just raining down the threes on the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I'll tell you what, that Cavalier team's got a lot of heart. I was a big Atkinson fan, Scott, when he was the Brooklyn Net coach. I used to go to net games. I went to the Knicks a couple of times, but I used to go to more net games because it was super cheap, bro. Like, you know, like it was before they got Irving and Durant, and they made the playoffs with Jared
He was their
Allen and
best
Spencer
coach.
Dinwiddie. Yeah, remember that team? Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, D'Angelo Russell. It was like a group of misfits. And he coached them into the playoffs, bro. They took like the 6 games. Like, and then they broke it up after. They fired him, and they brought in Kyrie and the head case and Durant and
They were
Steve
never the
Nash.
same.
How'd that all work? How'd that all work out? You guys had a good little thing going, and you were building up a real team. But Atkinson could just coach, bro. Like, he's a baller. You know, Scott, I don't know if Boston are a great team per se. Like, they're great. You know, in the modern NBA, they're the best team, but it's this modern NBA stuff. They bludgeon you with 3-point shots. And then they go cold for a little while in the game, and you can go on a run. But it's hard to beat them. But that was a fun game last night. And there's something about the Lakers, Scott. You know, let's see if we can get futures in on this. But these guys just, you know, they won the NBA Cup last year. Don't you get the feeling they're going to win it again?
I mean, they're hot.
They're going to hang up the second little mini banner.
They've won 6 in a row.
They don't lose in this cup stuff, bro. And they seem to like it. They seem to enjoy it. You know what I mean? And I don't think J.J. Redick wouldn't like to win it. First year as a coach, get the NBA Cup going. Dude, they haven't lost at home yet this year on their home court. They got, you know, so at home they've been really good. On the road, but don't forget, Vegas is almost like a home game for them. Lakers and Vegas in the NBA Cup, bro. It's like LeBron's building, right? So I'm just throwing it up there, guys. The Lakers seem to really like this NBA Cup stuff. And how about Dalton Connect, huh? This kid can ball, man. This guy can ball. You know, kid, he's like 25, right? He's a little older. That's why some teams who are stupid, I might add, some teams that are stupid got turned off of Connect because they were like, he's already 24. He's kind of peaked. The upside. Well, what do you mean the upside? He's already one of the best shooters in the NBA. There's your upside.
Yeah, and Utah covered that 11. I took them as well last night. And the Spurs,
That was wild.
played
You're
without
right.
Wemby, and they won. They got that job done on the Riverwalk, beat the Thunder.
You know, tonight, Scott, I'm looking at the line here, and I just don't get it. The Bucks are battling to win games, let alone to win by 8. You know what I mean? And one thing I'll say about this, guys, the total, 239 tonight, okay? Chicago and Milwaukee. You know what? A lot of people look at that, Scott, and go, oh, my God, I like the over, but I can't bet 239. No, there's a reason why they made it 239. It's going to go over. Like, this is the old, they're putting up, like, never mind dog, beware of gun sign on the fence. They're trying to keep you out here. They don't want you betting this total. That's why they made it so high. You know what? When they do this, it's like the highest games go over and the lowest games go under. I'm going to pull the trigger on the over here, dude. Chicago can't stop anybody. All right, like these guys, like, look, they're giving up like 140, 130, 120. Like, it's just constant, like, you know, in the high 120s or whatnot. They play at the fastest pace in the NBA. Like the Bulls and the Raptors, the Bulls just get the ball and push it up the floor, and they don't try to play defense. Look for Giannis to murder them in the paint, too. He kills these guys. He had 38 points the last time that they played. I think his prop is like 29.5, 30.5 right now. It's bouncing around, but I think he's going to go over. I like that game to go over. Dude, the Cavs are without like 5 guys tonight. Like, everybody's sitting, and they're still laying 14 because the Pelicans are without 10 guys tonight, which is pretty wild. But the NBA game that caught my eye the most, actually, was the Bulls. Give me the Bulls plus 8.5. Like I said, the Bucks are struggling just to win games. They're not in a position to be covering spreads right now. And I think I'm going to bet the total. And, Scott, I'm going to go back to the MAC because I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm a masochist.
The MAC.
I'm going to go back to the MAC action tonight. Listen, Buffalo became bowl eligible in a wild comeback win last week. At home in Buffalo. Now they're going on the road to Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan sitting at 5 wins, guys. Now it's their turn to become bowl eligible. Eastern Michigan punched their ticket tonight, minus 115 money line, and gave me the Toledo Rockets at the Glass Bowl tonight, also minus 120 on the money line, Scott.
Laying 1.5. Who do you like in the Vegas, Toronto, the Leafs and Knights?
You know what? I'll take the Toronto Maple Leafs here, Scott. Minus 110 is a pickup.
Oh, the Leafs at home. All right, Gabe. Have a good night, buddy.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6'8". Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
That lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top. Oh!
Off balanced him a little bit. Take down the net. Right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round 1 halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work!
Look at that positioning, that's beautiful work. Hender's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he unleashes the throw. Oh, he's out! He's out!
He's in trouble! And he's down! And he is done! The king has returned! Francis Ngannou is back!
Lakers, Carver High, Connect going off. They've been winning 6 in a row. They don't lose at the Crypt. They've looked good. Redick has them, focused, disciplined. He, calls guys out. It's working. AD is unstoppable. Same with LeBron. Now you got this kid. I love how LeBron calls him their first-round pick. That's kind of his name. But everybody knows his name now in the NBA because he can absolutely fill it up.
And he certainly did that last night at the Crypto for the Lakers. 37 points, a career high for Connect. He hit 9 threes. He scored 22 straight points for LA in the second half. Here he is raining threes on Spectrum Sportsnet LA.
Thought about it. He's going on it. He's going on its way. Down it goes! Down it goes! Yes, sir! Show off a little bit, Dalton. For the Lakers.
Oh, they had it set up again.
Here he goes, trying it again! Unreal!
Uh-oh! Well, I tell you, he just is shooting the lights out.
Gonna try it again. Got it! Got it!
Oh, my God. I mean, he did it in college all the time. He would go have games like this left and right. He can score from anywhere. He can shoot deep, corner pocket threes, on the wing, far side, top of the key. It doesn't matter. The guy is a bucket waiting to happen. But they have more than that. You could talk about a lot of guys on that team that are producing now. And it's crazy because they kind of stunk the last couple of years. I know they won the NBA Cup, but I don't think people respected it. I know they liked it because they won money, but they really weren't that good, all things being equal, in the Western Conference and in the playoffs. They haven't mattered in a little while, but they look good this year.
They definitely look good this year, but I also like to preface this too. They look good at home. They have looked
Fair
good.
enough.
Okay, they are 7-0 at home, 3-4 on the road. So they've been a different team when they get out of the Crypto a little bit. But still, I mean, that's still 10-4 overall, and they're playing good ball. They've just played the bulk of their games so far at their house. Let's next. I got Connect for you, and you know what this is like when you play, Scotty. Sometimes you just go out there and just everything's going in. I mean, you're just feeling it. I mean, there's just no way that you can miss. Here's your boy Connect talking about that.
Dalton, asked JJ about what it feels like to be in that zone. So, like, you talked about flow state. It feels like the earth, the axles, just everything perfect. At what point did you realize that you were in that state? Was it the first 3, second 3? At what point were you just like, yeah, I'm locked in?
The first shot. Every time I see one go in, I think the next one's always going in. Even if I miss it, I always have the confidence that my next shot's going in. My dad always told me that, so that's just my confidence.
There you
I
go.
think he acts like he, is bored with it. Like, he's so used to having big nights and putting up big numbers that he just doesn't even care. He just goes out and balls. He's one of these guys, I think Cooper Flagg will be that way. He's going to score a lot. He's going to get better and better. That kid was, in my opinion, top 3 scorer in the country in college basketball at Tennessee. Every night he put on a show. So I think he's used to it, and it's no big deal. It's like guys that have big nights and they don't win. They're like, whatever, it doesn't even matter. I have 46 and we don't win. That's, throw it in the garbage. He seems like uninterested, even though he is, the way he scores.
He certainly is. And last thing on Connect before I move on, obviously a long way to go, but his numbers clearly for Rookie of the Year last night, they went through the roof. So hopefully you got on board early. He was 25-1 last week to win Rookie of the Year. Now plus 225 after his 37-point night. He actually is not the favorite right now. Jared McCain from the Sixers, who's played very well with everybody out of the lineup there, he's plus 140, Connect's plus 225. But they've kind of pulled away from everybody else, Scotty. Risha Shea, Carrington, Edie's hurt, etc.
Who do you think's better between Connect and the kid from McCain of Philly?
Yeah, the good thing for McCain right now is that he's getting so much burn because everyone's out, and he's really filling a role. Somebody's got to fill it up for them, and he's kind of been doing it. I think Connect's a very he is an NBA ready player. You and Gabe kind of mentioned it, everybody thought a knock on him was that he was 24 years old and that he was older than all these other guys, and sometimes that's not a knock. Sometimes that just means you're ready to actually play in the NBA right now. So nice job by Connect last night, playing great ball for the Lakers. Meanwhile, the Cavs went into Boston with an undefeated record. They leave with their first loss of the season. Of course, lots of threes, as usual. If you're going to lose to the Celtics, there's going to be a lot of threes that get involved with it. Derek White on TNT raining them down.
Garland gets Horford on his back, and Horford chases him down for the block. Been one of those nights for Darius Garland. White and Tatum. White's going to fire it. White's going to hit it. 22 made threes for the Celtics, and they're back up 8.
I hate him. But, at the end of the day, Cleveland covered. That's all that matters. They had 7. They were down huge. They came roaring back. They got in the game. It was like a 2-point game multiple times, and then they lose by 3. Usually when you play at the Garden, you lose anyway. They don't lose a lot of games there. So I thought, the expense of losing, they played their asses off, got back in the game, and made people money if you bet on them. I bet on them. I liked them, and they gave them a game, and they shouldn't have. The Celtics should have wiped them out. They had big leads multiple times.
They did, and that actually brought the Cavs to now 12-4 against the spread this year. Now, I have the full numbers for you coming up in a little bit here. But that is the best against the spread record in the NBA this year, that 12-4 for the Cavs. Well, I hope they would. They're 15-1 straight up. I hope that they have the best against the spread record. You'd like to think.
We've talked about it.
You never
before.
know.
They never. You can be as great as you want in the regular season. You can win every game. You can start, 15-0. But if you don't win in the playoffs, you don't matter. And that's who they are. They don't win when it matters. The Knicks kick their ass in the playoffs. So it just doesn't exist a world where you win all these games early in the season and then you get in the playoffs and you can't perform, and they have the same talent in the playoffs. I guess they had a couple of guys that were injured, obviously. Allen was injured. That ruined their season, I think, at the end. Not having him going in the playoffs every night was what cost them. But they've got to win in the playoffs. It's like the Bills not being able to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. They can beat them when it doesn't matter.
Right. You just look at the last couple of years since they got Mitchell. They lost to the Knicks 2 years ago. Last year, they did win in 7 against the Magic, and then they got smashed by Boston, the team they lost to last night in that second round. So they've been smashed out the last few years. So you got to make a little bit of a deep run there at some point with that crew. We shall see if that can happen for Cleveland. All right. Next, Nuggets beat the Grizzlies 122-110. I will slide this in here now. Russell Westbrook, 200th career triple-double. Here is Russ talking about the honor.
It's a blessing, man. I'm truly grateful to be able to play the game long enough to be able to do that. But I'm also appreciative of the ones who came before me and to be able to set the table. And I'm grateful for that as well. Great night. My teammates, made it easy for me and allowed me to go out and compete. And I'm grateful for the entire journey. Hopefully, let's keep it going.
Now he's nice that he's old. It doesn't matter. But look, the guy, you remember the season he averaged a triple-double? Every night he went out and had a trip-dub. The whole season. He averaged that. That's crazy. No one can say they've done that. That guy, when he was at the top of his game, peaking out, he was a badass. And then he started not being able to shoot. And then everybody turned on him and said he sucked. He has never sucked. The guy can still play. I just think he's lost his ability to hit, outside J's, threes. He's not as good as he used to be. But he's still solid in every other category. Dishing, running, getting up and down in transition. He makes plays. I still think the guy can get it done.
Tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6'8". Hena weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Hena Ferreira in the gray.
As that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top. Oh!
Off-balanced him a little bit. Takedown to right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Hena Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that position. That's beautiful work. Hender's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing London from. Oh, he's out! He's out!
Luka had a big game. He got back in the lineup, had 26. He's had 10 times bigger games, but he carried them last night. They had an easy win over the Pels. Everybody abuses the Pels these days. With as many guys as they have out of their lineup, they're screwed.
They are absolutely screwed, and you're right. They have been abused by everybody. They're 4-11 now, the Pelicans, and that's only going to get worse as they move along. Smash City, 132-91 for Dallas. This one definitely surprised me. Spurs, no Wembanyama, beat the Thunder last night, 110-104, as they got some big nights from some of the old guys. Harrison Barnes had 20. Johnson had 22 for them. So I was stunned to see them beat the Thunder, especially with no Wembanyama in the lineup.
How many people lost money on that game last night? Because everybody had to bet the Thunder. The Thunder are one of the best teams in the league, certainly in the West, and they go down there and mess around and get beat by the Spurs. You would think without Wemby, it was easy pickings for them. Instead, they lose, and then they got to turn around and play tonight, too. I think they're at home in OKC, same as the Cavs. They lose, but they're playing at home tonight. I guess if you look at it, they both probably win tonight and get it done at home.
You would like to think a little bounce back. We'll give you those numbers in a little bit. And the one other NBA Cup game last night, the Nets, 1-point win over the Hornets, 116-115. Huge night for Cam Johnson. He had 34 on 6 threes, but a nice win for the Nets at home for that one. Ball had a bad night. Let's just say that for the Hornets. When you shoot 3 for 13 from the floor, it's a bad night, and he got nothing going. And they still only lost by 1.
You have games like that. I'll tell you what. Every time I watch the Nets, they're pretty good. They're not bad. They play hard. I like the new coach, Fernandez. This team is interesting. They got guys that can pour it in. Last night it was Cam, and, sometimes it's the other Cam. You get Thomas going. That guy can score 40-plus. He can have 50-point games. I think they're fun. They're young. They run. They get transition buckets. They hustle. They shoot threes. They do everything, and they're not as bad as people think. Obviously, they struggled. The one game with the Knicks, they lost by 2, and then they had to play them again. But I think every night they're decent to watch play. I think they're, pretty tough.
They are pretty tough. So we're done with the NBA Cup again until Friday. We'll get more games then. Here's where it sits. Everybody's played, for the most part, 2 games. You still got a few teams that have only played 1 game in that NBA Cup. But on the East side, Orlando and the Knicks are 2-0. You have Detroit at 2-0 in the B division, and you have Atlanta at 2-0 in the C division. Remember, they had that upset win over the Celtics. And on the West side of things, Lakers are 2-0 in B, Warriors are 2-0 in C. Really, in A, everybody hasn't played a lot yet. Everyone's really played one game, the Rockets and the Blazers, in that one. So still a long way to go, Scotty, for the NBA Cup to see who's going to.
How many of these group games do they play before they go to getting toward Vegas in the Final Four?
4. They play each team once, I believe. You play each team in your group one time, and then is when they start moving on into the I guess it's 4 teams from each side, the quarters, and then they get the Final Four in Vegas that comes after that. So we still have some distance to get to with the NBA Cup, but should be a lot of fun moving forward. I have also this one. I like this report. Whenever there's bad reports about the Sixers and Embiid and all this stuff, I think it's great. So after they got whacked by Miami on Monday night, there was a team meeting, the old team meeting as you go to 2-11. Tyrese Maxey allegedly challenged Joel Embiid, calling him out for being late to everything. Meetings, practice, games. Apparently JoJo comes and goes as he pleases. And Tyrese Maxey let him know that it was hurting everyone, players, coaches, everybody involved. So there you go. JoJo getting the business from Tyrese Maxey.
Is that how you show that you're a leader, when you're Maxey and you take on JoJo? With all of his money and bags, they gave him, almost $200 million. Then everybody said he's a wussy because he doesn't play, because he's got a knee. And then now you got the guy that scores all the buckets calling him out and saying he doesn't do anything and the rest of them do. I mean, honestly, this kid is taking over this team. He doesn't even care if he lights up JoJo.
And then they had to do all the damage control afterwards because they had, no, you don't understand. They respect each other and they're great friends, but they challenge each other is what they challenge each other to be the best, and that's why Maxey did it. Not because he doesn't like him, challenging him to do better. That's what it's all about.
I think he's a better player. I think he's faster. He runs. He hustles. He scores at will. No one can guard him. He plays at both ends, and JoJo walks up the court. Never hustles, could care less. He'd rather shoot threes from the top of the key than go down in the block with his 7-foot, 300-pound ass and go to work. That's where he could get the easy buckets. Instead, he just lollygags up the court and he'll pull up from 30 and shoot it. I think Maxey does 10 times the work as Embiid. I think he's a better player.
It sounds like Embiid is actually going to play tonight, believe it or not. I know that they're in Memphis, I believe, against the Grizzlies tonight. So it does sound like he's actually going to play, which is rare for him to play. I know it's not a back-to-back, but even him to play 2 games in a row is such a sight to see. So it looks like you'll get him in there, JoJo, after his stern talking to from Tyrese Maxey the other night. We'll give you the numbers on the Sixers and that. We'll come back. I have the best and the worst on the NBA side against the spread. I've got the over-unders, and then I have all the games for tonight, including that Philly-Memphis game. You've got Atlanta and Golden State tonight. The Knicks are in Phoenix to start West Coast trip as well. So we have all of that NBA action that we have to get to.
I can't believe that they're favored on the road against anybody. When you have the record they have and they never win, how are they favored? I don't care who they're playing. I don't care where they're playing. How are they favored? Seriously, Philly, honestly.
It doesn't. I think it's tonight it's squarely because he's playing. And Memphis does have a lot of guys out, as you saw last night with them losing to Denver. But they have been so awful that it's hard to back Philly laying 3.5 points tonight on the road. Very difficult.
Are you on Memphis?
Going to that.
Are you Memphis?
I think we could take Memphis tonight with the 3.5 at home. I think we could.
Why not?
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
With that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top. Oh!
Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown again. Right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to get more of that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that position. That's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the hook and throw. Oh, he's out! He's out!
He's in trouble! And he's down! And he is done! The king has returned! Francis Ngannou is back!
So you're going to give me the best and worst in the NBA here?
Yeah, why don't we do that? I already told you earlier that it is the Cavs who do have the best mark, of course, 12-4 against the number this year. But how about the Nets are 10-4-1 against the spread, or 15 games into the season. Warriors, the Raptors are 10-5 against the spread. The Grizzlies, who we just talked about, are 9-5-1 against the spread so far this year, getting 3.5 points at home tonight against Philly. The Timberwolves, Suns, Bucks, Pelicans, Sixers, and Wizards are all on the bad side. You don't want to be on that side.
How is that possible that the T-Wolves have gone from, where they were last year to sleepwalking? And look at them, 5-9 against the spread. They've been so average. They're like, basically 500, fair to middling. And they act like they don't even care that it's all just going to happen and they'll, flip a switch and they'll win every game. And they haven't been that team at all that they were last year. And I think it starts with, getting rid of Towns. They thought Rudy Gobert could, do the job without him. And they were certainly better with him. There's no denying Randall can play, but I still don't think he's Towns at some level. So I'm surprised about them. And I really don't trust the Raptors, even though they have that 10-5. I think at some point they'll fizzle out and not matter when it comes to betting. They're not a good team.
They are not a good team. And yes, the T-Wolves are now 8-6 straight up. So they're 8-6 straight up and 5-9 against the number. So they got a bunch of games in there that they won and didn't cover. And like you said, they're kind of just going through the motions here. Early on in the NBA season. Overs and unders, of course, we love POINTS, points. Well, if you like that, Hawks, 11 of their 15 games up. Cavs also, Pacers, Grizzlies, Warriors, Nuggets, and T-Wolves all playing the most overs, while the Pistons, Hornets, Bucks, Clippers, and Magic, they are playing the lower scoring games. They have the unders right now.
Well, all those teams that are over shoot tons of threes, and you see their records, how they win, how they play, they run and gun. I don't know about the T-Wolves. I'm not interested in them yet. They haven't looked good, like I said. So under teams, I've been surprised at the Pistons. Even in the Cup, they've looked good so far. I think they're 2-0, you said to me. And then the Hornets, when Melo is playing well and doing his thing and scoring and dishing, they can win games, and he's tough. Last night he didn't have it. You're not going to have it every night. The Bucks, I'm surprised, because every game they play is like a 1 or 2 point game. They can barely win games at all. And the Clippers are starting to, in terms of playing, at least they're getting better. They've been winning games. They've been able to beat the Warriors. They did it twice. And the Magic are winning because of Franz Wagner. That's all there is to it. No, you have your star player out, and nobody else can do it. Banchero is gone, and then this kid just took over and started dealing every single night. He's a good player.
He's a real good player, and that's why the Magic are where they are so far. And we're going to discuss them in a moment as they are out west tonight to continue their road trip. All right, I got a lot of NBA, and then I have a lot of football in the second hour, so we might as well get cooking here with some of this action for tonight. And I will start with this Pelican-Cleveland game for one reason. How about the laundry list? Listen to all the names that aren't playing in this game tonight. Zion, Brandon Ingram, DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado, Darius Garland, Max Strus, Karis LeVert, Dean Wade, Isaac Okoro, Sam Merrill. That's everyone on both teams who's not playing. Now, of course, some of those guys have been out long term. Some of those guys are just out tonight. So skeleton crews all around, and the Cavs try to bounce back, and they are 13.5-point favorites at home against the Pelicans, 216.5 the total.
It sounds like a G League game. I mean, nobody's going, so, I still like Cleveland at home at the Rocket. I do.
Here's what I know. I just gave you a whole bunch, like 15 names, and I didn't hear Donovan Mitchell in any of those names. So if Donovan Mitchell's playing, I'll lay to 13. And their loss last night, I know it's a back-to-back. They're playing back-to-back, too, and they got smashed. So I'm willing to lay it with Cleveland, as dangerous as that might be with that heavy number. I'll give it a shot. All right, we'll come back, and I've got the rest for you. The Bulls are in Milwaukee against the Bucks, and the Suns and the Knicks, Hawks, Warriors, Magic, Clippers, who we were just talking about. So we'll run through the rest of the NBA on a Wednesday night here on C2C when we come back. Good slate.
I think they're good, so why not? Let's do it.
Some decent games indeed. We'll do that when we come back. Hour 2, coast to coast.
I want to see if Orlando can win at the Clippers.
Together, both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the 2 big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, it's going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid, Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma will do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.